You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Each and every Friday, I love bringing you an eclectic show where I kind of combine everything that's been going on from the practice around the week, what's going on with IHP, what's going on with equilibrium. I bring you at least 2 research studies that have real-world application that you can actually use in your life, not research that's obscure, that means absolutely nothing to you, and there's nothing that you can do with it. Also, I love those research studies to be on larger, longer focus groups where we can actually derive information that we, most likely, if we follow that advice, can get those same exact results. Plus, I bring you a book review, a product review, some technology I'm reviewing, or, of course, some type of nutritional supplement that we're using in our practice. Maybe I'm using with myself, maybe I'm using with my family. So, love these shows, love being able to talk about a bunch of different topics on one show, and it's just a little different. It's a breakup from the one topic per day that we typically do, Monday through Thursday, our Mindset and Motivation Mondays, our Total Wellness Tuesdays, Weight Loss and Wellness Wednesdays, our Training or Toxic Thursdays, and then, of course, on the weekends, I answer our community's questions. So this week, if you haven't been tuning in, real important because we are into our second week now of Heart Health Month over at Equilibrium Nutrition and, of course, on the Cabral Concept podcast. So it was 1474, and it was the number one diet for heart health and longevity. I definitely want you to tune into that because I bring you a lot of unbiased research. And of course, it's not going to be popular, especially right now, because it goes against a lot of what people are doing. And I don't say that what people are doing is necessarily wrong. I say that it's wrong maybe for the long term because that's what we have right now for long-term research. So when I want you to bet on your health, I don't want you to take any risks. So I am conservative in that way, meaning like I know what we do works for the long term, not just in our practice, but actually what's been shown to work through clinical research, the blue zones, the longest lived people, etc. I mean, that it's a safe bet. Some other things may work in the future. We don't know. We don't have long-term results in those, and you're really making a risky bet. So in the short term, sure, you can do a lot of different things, probably not a lot of harm. In the long term, be very careful veering off what we already know to be the truth. Okay, so that was Tuesday's show. On Monday, we went about the 10-step plan on how to achieve anything you set your mind to. And I really love this episode. It's what I've tried to implement in my own life and really teach as much as I can in my lifestyle medicine practice as well. On episode 1475 on Wednesday, we talked about what happens when you lose weight. Actually, where does that weight go? Where does that fat mass go? And I think the answer will surprise you. 98% of all doctors, personal trainers, dietitians didn't get the answer correctly. On episode 1476, just yesterday, we went over the best body type workouts to build muscle and burn body fat. So we talked a lot about Ayurvedic body types, we talked about bone structure, and we talked about what workouts and the frequency and volume is best for all of those individuals. Plus, I did some kind of backlog on Ayurvedic-based shows and really told you how to be able to search through that information as well. So today, let's go over our updates first. I've got a couple product reviews, one kind of a blast from the past that I talked about maybe a year ago or so, and they have updates now as well. And then, of course, we have some research to bring you. Well, the first one today is we have a lot of now success stories pouring in from people using the Fatlossity system. So what I want to say is this, a lot of questions is how long should I continue to use Fatlossity? When should I start to see results? All of those things. Most people are seeing results within the first 21 days. So that's the remarkable thing, is that I still want people. A lot of people think like, okay, well, but it's all about long-term results. It is. But there's nothing wrong with short-term wins. So a lot of the people following the Fatlossity system right now are losing 7 to 10 to sometimes even 15 pounds in 21 days. And again, a lot of that has to do with how much weight you have to lose overall. If you only have to lose, let's say 10 pounds total, well, you might not lose 10 pounds in your first 3 weeks. It might take just a little bit longer. But if you have to lose 30, 40 pounds, it's not unreasonable that someone loses 10 pounds in their first 3 weeks at all. That's not unreasonable at all. We see that on our functional medicine detox for the 21 day, and we see that with Fatlossity as well. So I urge people to continue to keep going. It is a system that builds on itself. There's 3 main phases. Continue to use Fatlossity until you've lost the weight that you want, and then go from 2 caps in the morning and 2 caps in the evening, still following the exercise, still following the nutrition. And then what you want to do is just go to 1 cap and maintain your results, make sure things are still good for a couple weeks. And then if you want, you could ease off after that. Or if you want to use it for the energy and sleep-based benefits, you're welcome to continue. There's no harm in using that product. These are all natural-based ingredients. These are Ayurvedic herbs. These are specific amino acids, and these are specific minerals as well. Okay, so that's what I want to share with you on that. In terms of what is going on this week at Equilibrium Nutrition, really important, because this week, again, we are celebrating. We are really trying to spread the message of true heart health. Why does that matter to me? It is the number 1 cause of mortality. Number 1 cause of death in the world is cardiovascular disease. What if we could wipe that out? Imagine that. What if we could wipe that out? How many people would be that much healthier? How many people wouldn't be walking around with stiffness and pain due to being on all sorts of statins and other medication? Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I would love you to be able to check the levels of inflammation in your body due to an imbalance in omega-6s to omega-3s. Why do I love this lab test? Because it's one of those things that we just call it's binary results, which means that you're either at a 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s or you're not. Like, that's it. It's that simple. And if you're not, we want to be able to bring you up, and we can do that scientifically, in your omega-3s to a 3-to-1 ratio. We can give you the specific 5 types of fish to eat, or we can give you the specific type of omega-3s and the specific EPA to DHA ratio that we know that you need in order to improve those numbers. So I've done podcasts before on that as well. You're welcome to check that out. But this lab test is an inexpensive lab test, relatively speaking, to be able to get your omega-6 to omega-3 levels, to be able to look at your arachidonic acid levels, the most inflammatory omega-6s, to make sure you're not getting too many of those, and also to look at your EPA to DHA ratio. Because most people, maybe they're taking a fish oil or an omega-3, but it's higher in DHA than EPA, and they're not getting those EPA-based benefits. One more thing I'd like to share with you is this. We know through the clinical data that if you have a 9%, just 9%, if you have a 9% or greater saturation rate of omega-3s in your blood, research has shown that it's correlated with a 90% risk reduction rate in sudden cardiac death. Why does that matter? It matters because a lot of people have high cholesterol. A lot of people may have plaque in their arteries. But what happens is it's inflammation that closes down on those arteries. So if there's not a lot of inflammation, well, even if there's partial blockage, the blood can still flow. That's why, again, this test should be done for anyone. I mean, it can be done for anyone, of course, at any age, because you can check your omega-3 levels, right? Any age. But it really has to be done after the age of 30. That's my opinion. And then all you need to do is then take the right amount of omega-3s for you. You could do a follow-up in 12 weeks, make sure it's the correct amount. And then as long as you maintain that, you really don't have to test again that one. I mean, it's not as important. It's a great one to do. I still like to do it once a year, but you don't have to. You found the level that works for you. So that is why we are offering $100 off that lab for the next day or two. It ends, I believe, the 24th or 25th of February. And you can just head over to equilibriumnutrition.com and check out the omega-3 and inflammation lab. And you can save $100 while this offer is still valid. Okay. Moving on to a product review. Actually, I have 2. I have one on a nutritional supplement. I'm going to go over that one first. It's one of my favorite nutritional supplements for people that have a kind of persistent cough, okay? So for people that have mucus in the lungs, phlegm in the lungs, and they're more prone to some type of bronchitis-based issue. Again, I'm not saying this is used to treat bronchitis, okay? We're not working on treatment, curing, or diagnosis of any disease, that's for sure. But this is a really nice product, and I've been using it now for, I wouldn't say too long, maybe 4 years or so in my practice. I've been using the herb Mullein for a little bit longer. So mullein has been known, actually it's been used in Native American-based cultures for, well, many hundreds, potentially longer years. Also, this is a specific herb that's been used in traditional Chinese medicine, and this is a traditional Chinese medicine formula for the most part. There's some Ayurvedic herbs for sure, but traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine share many of the same herbs. So just a couple of the highlights. It contains a lot of heat. So just like I talk about with Fatlossity, it contains heat. Heat breaks up mucus. So in this, there's long pepper fruit. There's black cherry bark. That is, again, one of those Native American-based ones. There's cassia. There is the mullein leaf extract that I've spoke about before. There's licorice root extract. Licorice root is fantastic for viruses. It's fantastic for giving the adrenals a little bit of a boost. So really, really nice product there as well. And then ginger rhizome extract. And ginger, absolutely fantastic, again, for drying or clearing up a lot of that mucus. So ear, nose, throat issues, mainly nose and lung-based issues. The product is by Planetary Herbals, and it's called Mullein Lung Complex. So I will certainly link that up today. All links will be at stephencabral.com/1477. That includes the research coming up as well. Planetary Herbals is the name of the company that makes this Mullein Lung Complex. How many do you take? Well, the serving size is 2. Typically, you're going to take, when it's worse, 2, 3 times a day. You can take it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you can eventually just move to breakfast and dinner. If it keeps you up a little bit at night because of the licorice root in there, it shouldn't. But if it does, then you can simply take them earlier in the day. And then just work your way down to 1 at each meal, and then you can obviously just wean off of it. This is for short-term use. We're talking about 2-3 weeks, usually maximum. Okay, next up, a company called Safe Sleeve. I've recommended Safe Sleeve before, and why have I recommended Safe Sleeve? Safe Sleeve is an EMF blocker for your phone. And what they do is they have, which I think is actually pretty nice. So I have the iPhone 11 Pro. I use it for everything. I do a ton of my work on it. I'm always on airplanes and I'm working on that. It's got a fantastic 3-way camera on the back, all these great things. So I use it for some video recording. But what they did now is they have an iPhone 11 case. They have the iPhone 11 Pro, the Max, all of those. And so why I like it is this. It is double protection for EMFs for your phone. So they have a regular EMF case that goes over the back of your phone that protects it from falls and all sorts of different things like that, like a normal case would, except this one is actually blocking EMF. EMFs, if you haven't heard of my shows on EMFs, please go to stephencabral.com/podcasts, and in the search box, type in EMF. You can type in any keyword there, but EMFs are damaging people's DNA. They are causing all sorts of anxiety and all sorts of issue in people. I talk about it in the rain barrel effect, and I've done more in-depth shows. But what Safe Sleep does is they do a little bit more than most companies. So they actually give you then another case for the case. So the case is pretty easy. It's magnetic, and it pops onto like this foldable case that goes over it. And then the foldable case is what fully seals up that phone. And that enables you to block the majority of the EMFs. And the reason why I recommend this company, it's not necessarily that, I love this company over so many others, but I've tested this company and that I know it blocks the EMFs. So that's one of the nice things is I like being able to give you, verifiable results. I have a tri-field meter, I have a metric meter, and both say the same thing. So I just ordered mine, my second one. I had the iPhone, I guess it was 10 before that. And now that they have the new iPhone 11, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. They range anywhere from $49 to $59, I believe, for the iPhone 11, and maybe less expensive for some of the others. They also offer it for Galaxy and the Google Pixel. Okay, so there you are. Hopefully that's helpful. They have them for iPads, and they also have them for some laptops as well in order to block EMF radiation there, especially if you were to use one of those on your lap. Okay, we've got that. Now that I've brought you my product reviews, I hope that those are helpful. I wanted to share with you, I've been getting a lot of questions. Actually, it's not a lot, I would say, but like every month, consistently every month, people ask me about, what are these tiny red dots that I'm getting on my body as I'm getting older? And I let people know that typically they are absolutely harmless. But what are they? Well, they are a conglomeration of red blood cells. So they're referred to as cherry angiomas, or they're referred to as senile angiomas, or Campbell de Morgan spots. So you may have heard them as any one of those specific things. And again, they're typically not a cause for concern. But people don't necessarily just like the way that they look. And they start to occur not typically on the face, but typically on the body. You might see them on your torso, your arms. You might see them on your back. And nobody really knows why they are there. Nobody really knows their reason for growing. There's certainly a genetic component to it, but there's also some theories that it might be from toxin exposure, from bromine exposure specifically, and a change in hormones potentially as well, because sometimes women will see them more so during pregnancy or after pregnancy. And just to let everyone know, about 3/4 the population has at least one of these cherry angiomas by 75 years or older. So again, typically never a cause for concern, but if they start to grow larger or they start to become misshapen or they begin to bleed or anything like that, you should absolutely have them checked out by your dermatologist or your PCP. Okay, but I want to give people some pretty harmless and easy ways to remove them if they are interested. And again, this is all typically done with your dermatologist or a doctor that is licensed to do these specific things. Sometimes you'll see a med spa that will do them. But again, that's typically under a nurse practitioner or it's under a licensed esthetician working under a medical doctor. But again, this is not something that you would just do at home. But again, it's an easy way, one in-office treatment that typically gets rid of them. So there's 4 different ways. There is what's called electrocauterization. Now that sounds a lot more scary than it is, but all it is you're sending a little electrical current into these little red blood cells. And what it does is it actually just essentially burns them off. So they will scab up and they'll be then gone in about a week. So what happens is these blood vessels just become cauterized and they scab up and fall off. So pretty harmless, pretty easy, and you can essentially do all the cherry angiomas, I'm assuming maybe not more than a dozen or so, in one sitting there, and it might take 30 minutes maximum. Okay, the next one is cryosurgery. These are all called surgery, but they're not really surgery, right? It's considered surgery because you are removing something on your body, okay? But what we're using here is a liquid nitrogen, okay? A liquid nitrogen, and that extreme cold will essentially destroy anything that it's added to. I mean, this is used for moles, it's used for warts, and it can be used for cherry angiomas. It takes seconds, and that's all that it is. Again, always under medical supervision. The next one is laser surgery, and it's typically using something called a pulsed dye laser, PDL, if you're looking that up. And what it is, it's a yellow laser that's concentrated heat, and it destroys the specific, in this case, cherry angioma, but it can use for multiple things. That one's a little bit more powerful, not necessarily needed, but it can absolutely be used. And then there's simply working with your dermatologist, and they will excise or they'll shave part of that cherry angioma off. And then after that, they might even have to stitch it up a little bit. I think that seems like overkill to me for these harmless little red blood vessels. If you're going to do any of them, simply the electrocauterization is very, very simple. And then the cryo is easy as well. So just wanted to send that out there. Now I can refer back to the show for anybody with cherry angiomas. We don't definitively know how they come about. We have some theories, as I shared with you before, but they are typically harmless. If they start to grow larger, if they become misshapen, if they change in color, absolutely do see your dermatologist or PCP. Now I want to bring you 2 specific research studies that, again, I love bringing you real deal research. So this one was published in Biomed Research International, and it found a correlation between participants' zinc levels and the severity of their acne symptoms. Researchers believe that this is partly due to zinc's ability to inhibit the overgrowth of specific acne-based bacteria. And what they also found was that using zinc, so the higher the zinc in your diet, whether it be from foods or whether it be nutritional supplement-wise, does help with that acne. And again, we've seen that in our practice for many, many years, and I'm glad that there's some good research to be able to back that up. So I wanted to bring that to you. Good source of food-based zinc would be chickpeas. That's a great one. Most beans are high in zinc. There are pumpkin seeds. There's oysters. There's all sorts of different poultry. There's tofu has some zinc, oatmeal, a lot of healthy zinc-based foods. So you can simply look up foods highest in zinc and you'll be able to check those out. And of course, you can always use balanced zinc from Equilibrium Nutrition, or you can use straight zinc picolinate for a higher dosage without any of the copper. And you're welcome to do that as well, whatever you feel is the best fit for you. Okay, now I love always bringing you a little tidbit on exercise, okay? So what I wanted to bring you is this. There is a study done out of Victoria University in Melbourne, Australia. Shout out to all of our Australian-based friends, which I will be visiting you in just about a week or 2 weeks or so. Can't wait. This was a meta-analysis of studies involving 232,149 people and published in BMJ. I will link these up today at stephencabral.com/1477. And here's what it said. Title basically, a little bit of exercise could save your life. Regularly participating in running, even once a week, is associated with an up to 27% reduced risk for death from any cause, up to 30% lower risk of death from cardiovascular illness, and up to 23% reduced risk for death from cancer. The percentages were those of runners from an analysis of 14 previous studies, comparing their death rates with the death rates of people who did no running. I mean, this is pretty remarkable, right? Pretty amazing. So even just once a week, I actually believe that there's a tipping point here. So what happens is, we basically have a sweet spot for running. Not too much, not too little. We're talking about maybe 20 to 40 minutes for a run-based time. After that, start to become more catabolic. We start to see more micro tears in the hearts. So that's not good, right? So marathoners are certainly not the longest-lived people in the world. Not for sure. There's been many studies on that. But regular casual running. Now remember, you might not be able to run joint-based issues, et cetera, et cetera. You could get a lot of the same benefit from upright bike, from doing upright bike, from doing spinning, from doing rowing, from even doing some elliptical. You want to get the cardiovascular benefit. That's what they're talking about. So you want to get your heart and lungs pumping, right? But check this out, 27% reduced risk from all-cause mortality. I mean, that's remarkable. You just reduced your risk of dying by 27% for once, ideally twice, more than that, maybe 3 times a week from doing some cardiovascular work. 30% lower risk for cardiovascular issues. That's what we're talking about all this month. Number one cause of mortality. And 23% reduction in potentially getting cancer. So it's worth it, right? Let's get those bodies moving. Let's get ourselves healthy. Every little bit counts. You might say, oh, once a week, what's it going to do? Do it once a week. Once a week, look at that, 27% reduction from all-cause mortality. So if you can only make it to the gym once a week, good. Absolutely. I'm proud of you if you get once a week, and then maybe a couple months from now, we add twice a week. That's all right. Let's get once for now at least. Let's get that body moving. And if you're not doing any cardiovascular work right now, I do recommend it on top of your regular resistance training and your interval-based training because it provides other benefits for the body as well. Thank you so much for tuning into today's Cabral Concept. I appreciate you. All the links, all the notes will be at stephencabral.com/1477. Have an amazing weekend and stay tuned for our host calls coming up tomorrow. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.